Greetings, and welcome to the Spooky Coop. I'm Paul.
And I am Michelle. And we're at the Spooky Coop.
Welcome to the Spooky Coop. Hope you're not chicken. And welcome to the Spooky Coop. Here in our high-tech spooky studios, located near the foothills of haunted New Hampshire, where background noise is heard as moody ambiance rather than unpleasant, distracting audio pollution, we present this week's story of the paranormal and just plain scary stuff. So strap in, wonderful listeners. Are you ready? Here we go. This week's spooky tale comes from Kyle in the Midwest. Though it may not rank as spooky, as you'll hear, it certainly is creepy. This is his story. Hi, my name is Kyle. I was only 17 years old when this happened. My girlfriend was named Kim, who was also 17. We were hanging out one winter afternoon, a week or so after a big snowstorm. We were bored and had nothing to do. Her whole family was home at her place, and my kid brother was home at my house. So we were hoping to find some place for a little privacy and a bit of adventure. My dad took his Subaru to work that day and left his Ford truck with four-wheel drive behind. So we decided it would be fun to go down some back roads, looking for a secluded place that was private enough that no one was likely to bother us, so we could do a little bit of what we do in private, and maybe find some unusual scenery in the newly fallen snow. We drove around some back roads through the deep woods on what were mostly wider snowmobile paths, just big enough for the truck to fit down without getting stuck. We blasted our tunes, smoked some, and were having a great time. A few times we had to power through the sides of the road, covered with snow, where the snowmobile path was too thin, and I was a bit concerned we might get my dad's truck stuck. Once in a while, we would find a perfect clearing where the trees sheltered the ground from the deepest of snow, and we would pull off only to be bothered by people on snowmobiles who pulled up to see if we were okay. It really didn't work out, so we kept moving on. When the day was starting to wane, we decided to try one more long road into the woods. It seemed really quiet, and there were no snowmobile tracks that we could see, just some old tire tracks. Maybe some old hunters, we thought. We decided we'd try. If we didn't find a place where we could stop, we were going to call it a day and go home. We drove for a little while, maybe a quarter of a mile when I had to stop. There was something strange blocking the road. "What the F is that?" Kim said. "I'm not sure," I said. I got out of the truck and went to look. "It kind of looks like an animal spine. I'm going to get it." Kim said, "No, you're not." She shuddered. "Not with me in this vehicle." "I mean, I'm going to go get it? I'm just going to check it out," I corrected and jumped out of the truck. "Be careful. There might be a mountain lion or some wolf or something looking for it," she shouted from the car. I hadn't thought about it. My whole body coiled with tension. I looked closely at the ground for animal prints in the snow, but found none. Then I scanned the woods around me for any sign of wolves, coyotes, or even the rare mountain lion. Nothing. I turned my attention to the bones. It was, in fact, a spine. All the bones still joined together. I looked at it with fascination. It was too small to be a deer or a moose. It was too big to be a wolf or a coyote. I had no idea what it was. It was simply a spine, clean of flesh except for the tendons that held the bones together. I ran back to the truck, got my gloves, went back to the spine and tossed it into the nearby woods so we could drive back down the road. I was actually amazed at how light it was and how it stayed together in the air. "That was effing creepy," I said to Kim. She was hugging herself, then put her hand on mine. "Yeah, poor animal, but circle of life and all," she replied, trying to make me feel better. We kept down the road, looking for some place to stop. All the while, I was making stupid one-line jokes, trying to lighten the mood. In our present state of inebriation, they really seemed funny, but as I recount them now, not so much. Jokes like, "I don't have the backbone to stand up to my dad, so we should go back and get it," and that the letters in spine spell penis. We laughed so hard over that my beer came out of my nose. And then our mood changed, and we started joking that maybe someone might be playing real Mortal Kombat. A noticeable chill ran through us both. I know that I was more than horrified. We talked about Mortal Kombat and how some people have been known to copy video game violence. We talked about what could happen to us if there was a crazy guy out in the woods. The spine seemed to be more ominous than ever now. The threat seemed so large and looming. We began to look for a place to turn around. Our fear turned to terror when a few minutes down the road we came to an open area with a guy kneeling in front of what appeared to be a pile of human limbs. A human skull with long brown hair like a woman's was hanging on a white van parked behind him. He looked up at us with dark, black, dead eyes. He held up a shotgun and pointed it at us. Kim screamed, and I put the truck in reverse. There was nowhere to turn around, and I knew if I tried to turn around in the snow-covered bushes along the roadside, I risked getting the truck stuck. So I barreled backwards down the road as fast as I could. Finally, I got to the road and onto the relative safety of a bigger back road and then onto the main road. We were okay. As far as I know, we were never followed. You might be surprised about what happened next. Neither one of us reported the incident. Why? We were both really high when it happened, and were afraid there would be too many questions. And we were both afraid the guy would never be found if we reported it. There would be a good chance he would learn our names and then come after us. Worse, the police would consider the culprits to be us and put us in jail if they found any evidence. After a few years, we began to wonder if it ever really happened at all, or was just a figment of our imagination. After all, we were kind of toasted. And then, seeing this spine out of nowhere, blocking the truck, and talking about Mortal Kombat. The next year, Kim and we broke up. We met up again on Facebook years later, and she said she heard about a serial killer in that area when this all happened. She thinks we dodged a bullet and is happy to be alive. If it's true that there was a serial killer in that area, maybe we did see what we saw after we found the spine. To this day, thinking about it makes my backbone go cold, if you can forgive the pun. Well, that's Kyle's story from the Midwest. Fact or fiction, you decide. Until next time, wonderful listeners, until we see you, have a wonderfully spooky week. And we'll see you again soon in the Spooky Coop.